uh, welcome to the third live video. When we started this, we didn't even think actually that we'd actually have a third live video, and there are people who've been writing to us and asking us to do this on a daily basis. Thank you so much. It feels great to be loved, isn't it?
Yes, it's a beautiful feeling.
When people write back and say, oh, we love you guys, oh, we love what you're doing, and especially I think when someone writes back and says it's so comforting.
I like that word.
I love that too. कितना अच्छा सा लगता है ना when someone just says that whatever you guys are talking about is relatable and it's such a comfort. So
Thank you.
Thank you so much from the bottom of both our
Hearts.
So,
okay.
What makes it so relatable also is that the things that we want to in fact talk about are things that affect all of us, and which is why we thought that we'd do a Q&A today.
Yeah, so we have a good set of questions that we've received during our last, after our last session, and I think it would be good if we could take some of these questions here, and you can also send your questions in the comment box. So if we have the knowledge, we will definitely try to share our views on it.
And if we don't, then we'll go back, we'll look it up, we'll do our own research, we'll do our own meditations, our own guidance, and we will try and make sure that you get the answer.
Yeah.
So
the first question that we received today,
and so the first question in fact is a rather interesting one, because this has a direct linkage to the last video that we did and to something that I had mentioned right in the beginning of the video, where I asked Sargam that I keep telling myself I love myself, do I? So this question is that how do I recognize if I truly love myself or if I'm just trying to convince I am? How do we recognize if we actually mean what we say?
Okay, that's a great question. In fact, this also applies in many of our relationships. So there are people who will say, I really love you, right? So I still remember Master Chopra, one of his videos in the retreat that are shown, where he says, use discernment. Don't believe everything at the face of it. Use your discernment. So when you love somebody, I'm sure you still have these kinds of doubt when you love, a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You have similar kind of doubt, and this mentality of having doubt, I'm sure, stays with people. So usually people who have had a lot of heartaches and heartbreaks, they are so afraid of this idea of love, that when it comes to loving their own self, they find their inner child uncomfortable with the feeling of love, because somewhere they have believed that love is
Not for them.
is not meant for them, or love is conditional. So there is nothing like an unconditional love. You have to be a certain way to be loved. You have to be deserving. You have to qualify for being loved. Now we do the same thing with ourselves as well,
Which is so sad, because we should be able to love ourselves so effortlessly. I mean, it's bad enough that the whole world tends to love us basis qualifiers and parameters. We at least should be able to love ourselves just as we are, without any qualifiers.
Absolutely. But this is really tough, because when we are born, we have that idea of love, so we don't do things to please people.
We do things for ourselves.
As a child, you do as you feel. So you cry when you're hungry, you poop and you want to be changed. You laugh at everyone without being, judgmental or biased. And that is our, true state.
True.
But over the period of time, and I think it also arises from the parenting that we receive. If you are good, you will get a chocolate. Be a nice girl.
Or if you get 20 on 20, I will buy you a new toy.
Absolutely. So our idea of love is about, being conditions. to fulfill. And when you fill those conditions, you feel you're deserving of love. And the same thing you start doing with your own self. But self-love, so to understand self-love, you have to unlearn. Unlearn all these conditional behaviors that your parents, your siblings, your loved ones have told you, that in order to be loved, you have to be something else. You have to be a nice girl. You have to be a nice boy.
You don't have to be lovable. You are lovable.
Absolutely. So the first thing that I want to see, we all are, made in the image of God, and the qualities of God are love, light, and power. And love being the center of it, it's the core of our being. So there is nothing like. Actually, it's sad that we have to teach people to love themselves, because loving yourself means being yourself. Without judging, without labeling yourself, without, thinking that you need to be accepted. You should be just comfortable the way you are. And most of us, we are not. So that is why people like me, or other spiritual teachers, are teaching about the importance of loving yourself, because
we've seen it change our lives.
Yeah, because a person who is capable of loving him or herself is capable of loving others. So it's like this: if your love tank is not full, you cannot love anyone.
You can't go around offering what you don't have.
Yeah, so you have to fill your own cup with love, and once it overflows, everybody who will come in contact with you will be loved. So that is the whole idea of loving yourself. So when you are in a, you have this doubt whether I love myself or not, you have to again center your attention to the heart. God very wisely has placed this emotional compass within our body, so that we don't have to ask people.
And He's placed it right at the center of our being. It's not here, it's not down there, it's right here, right in the middle.
Yeah, so whenever you feel that you are out of alignment, that is when you are not self-loving.
On a personal note, how do I know whether I love myself enough these days? Or it's, of course, I think it's never enough. I need to love myself even more. But how have I seen myself changing on that spectrum from a point where I think I used to just say it, but I didn't really mean it or feel it, to a point where, to a very large extent, of course, I love myself. I've seen my choices in life change.
Yeah, that's one nice way of understanding,
because when you love someone, what do you want for them? You want only the best for them. So when you love yourself, what do you want for yourself? You want only the best of everything.
Absolutely.
You want to be around people who are good for you, people who build you up and not drag you down. You want to be in relationships that are happy and healthy. Every relationship does have its ups and downs, but sometimes there are these relationships which are so toxic, where they're all about the down, 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 and there's really no up to it, upswing to it. So you learn how to gently detach yourself and to gently let go, and you start being more and more in relationships that are really the kinds that nurture you, that make you the best person that you can, the best possible version of yourself that you can be. Food. I have seen my choices in eating change tremendously. Whether it is going from processed carbohydrates to eating food that's organic, to eating food that's healthy carbs, to eating a lot of vegetables, and to munching on a lot of fruit instead of munching on artificially prepared junk. I've seen all of that change. So that's where I started to realize that, okay, I know I do love myself a lot because I have started treating myself so much better.
Absolutely. In my case, for me, apart from food, apart from these choices, having more and more knowledge, learning about new things, doing what makes your heart beat. For me, it's travel. I love travel. So, planning a vacation, doing simple things that really make me, grow and come out of my comfort zone. Those are the things that I feel are part of, exploring my own self, and that is what I do for my self-love. So once, you'll start off small. So, making the right choices probably with food, with people around you, your relationships, what you wear, how you look. These are small things that you might start off with initially, and then once you're on a roll, it becomes a part of you. So every day, we make like millions of choices in a day. So you just have to choose what you feel is totally in alignment with, your highest good. Whatever it is not, just leave it.
Also, so think of it as sort of like a litmus test on do you love yourself. When you love yourself, you won't compromise on things that really, really matter to you.
Absolutely.
It could be something as simple as maybe a bottle of shampoo, and you will probably go and look for something which is, something that's actually really, really great for your hair, instead of just going and picking off whatever it is that you see. You'll actually make a choice with a lot of discernment. You'll say, okay, this is my hair, it's a part of me, I want to take very good care of it, so I'll go for a product that actually suits my hair, instead of looking at all kinds of other criteria. So little things like these, just look at how are you treating yourself. Are you treating yourself with loving kindness? Are you being kind to yourself? Are you making healthy choices in life? Kevin, your body is your temple. Who are the people you are around? Even in relationships, who are the people you're even exchanging body fluids with?
Yes. Okay, I'll have to take a break.
So
okay,
that
just be back.
Is I can. You're going to need some place to go. So while Sargam is away, I'm just going to, I don't know, maybe talk a little more about self-love, because that's what it's something that I've struggled with over the years, and I know exactly how it feels to not love myself, and I also know exactly how it feels now to love myself, to the point that if I was to look at various areas of my life, I can now see the difference between the choices that I was making earlier, when I was just saying that I love myself but I didn't, and the choices that I've been making now, especially in the last 1 year, whether it is in the area of spirituality, whether it's in the area of health and fitness, whether it's in the area of simple things like the clothes that I like to wear, or the colors that I pick, the products that I use, and again coming back to my favorite topic, food. So wait, you come this side.
Sorry. So this is part of being at home.
So the you come this side thing is that Sargam and I have quite the noticeable height difference.
Thank you, Salam.
So we have to make sure that she's in a chair that's ergonomically comfortable for her. So what's the second question?
The second question is why 21 days? And
So this is something, in fact, even I wanted to keep asking you. Why 21 days?
Okay, interestingly. So, before starting my journey with pranic healing, I was doing these 21 days meditation with Deepak Chopra. And I really loved the concept of 21 days, where he said that, in order to break any habit, you need 21 days of consistent, persistent effort.
So it's like that, they say that hold a thought for 17 seconds.
Yeah.
And it starts to energize itself. So the same way, 21 days, you need at least 21 days of consistent effort to do something good. So that's
So that's the reason why all my workshops are for 21 days. Most of them are for 21 days.
So are 21 days enough to love ourselves? No, loving yourself should be a state of mind. It should not be about the number of days. It's not something that you put a full stop to. You don't start anything by saying that, okay, for these 21 days I'll love myself, and after that, I don't know.
Yeah, so I call it
You've to love
365 days
days
of
of
self-love.
love.
So that-
365 days, 24 hours, every minute, every second. Loving yourself has got to be effortless. It's got to be a natural part of you.
Absolutely.
You got to do it all the time.
So, interestingly, so the answer to the question is, see, 21 days is like a kickstart, for any activity that you want to do. So, in a workshop, you come for 21 days. I would love to have it like a 3-month, 4-month, even 1-year program, but, it's difficult for people to be there for that long. Although I've seen most of my relationship healing groups, continue for more than 2 years, so we have all the people still there waiting for updates and interacting with each other. But as a program, yes, 21 days are good enough to start off with, and then you can always revisit what was taught in the 21 days workshop, and keep doing it, keep practicing it, and then once you're done, join the next workshop, which always comes.
So I
soon.
did this workshop with Sargam recently, Sargam's gratitude program
How did I
that
do?
started on her birthday in March, and and I still have my gratitude diary, and I am still writing in it. I haven't, it's not like 21 days of Sargam's official program is over, so now I go back to being my usual ungrateful self. No. The lessons that I learned, the things that I learned, the things that I started to do, being thankful for things, writing down what I want to manifest in my life, I am still following all of those practices.
That's nice to hear.
So your 21 days doesn't have to mean that it's only Sargam Mishra who will continue to say that, okay, I'm doing this program, so you better do this. And after this, you end up saying that now that there's nobody to guide me.
Yeah, because I'm always there. So that is one good thing. I'm always available for any queries on WhatsApp. I'm always reachable on Facebook Messenger. I'm very quick to reply. So don't think that once 21 days is gone, like you will be all alone by yourself. I'm always there.
So after these 21 days, keep looping back, keep asking Sargam, what next, what next. If you've got questions, queries,
Yeah, and
keep
I love to
asking
hear
her
from
for
all of you.
advice. And we keep doing these programs over and over again. See, even doctors give medicine for a certain period of time, after which they tell you that, okay, now you can probably just continue to, you don't need medication anymore. Now you can just continue to live a healthy and happy lifestyle.
Absolutely. Now next question. Okay, so this is from someone who has already done this program, 21 days of program. So she says that she's spiritually much better, but still have those occasional moments when she reverts back to the old self. So the habits, and so how do I bring back myself to the balance? Now this is an interesting thing. See, okay, as a spiritual practitioner myself, there are days when I'm miserable, there are days when I am not at all, in a good state of mind. It happens with everyone.
Yeah,
So-
you're not God. Neither are we. We're also on our own spiritual journey. You think we don't have moments where we regress back? Of course we do.
So, being authentic is about sharing. So there will be people who will say, no, I'm a spiritual practitioner, I teach these things. So I'm 24/7 in this state of being. Trust me, it doesn't happen, So you have your days when your maid doesn't come. There are days when your boss might shout at you. There could be days when, nothing is going as you had planned. And then you can blow off, right?
Oh,
Which
and
is
by the way, Jojo, I love you. It's great to see you here.
Okay, so we all struggle, in coming back to that state of, you can say, mindfulness. But the difference between, a newbie and a person who has been practicing this for a while is the amount of time they spend being there. So, for some people, they could mull for like weeks and days, but for other people, it could be like an hour. For others, it could be few minutes. So
Do you remember those initial days when we first met, and I used to have so much of anger issues and all, and I remember there was so when Sargam and I first met, I had work issues, and we were at the gym and we were working out. And every single day that she and I would meet, so of course we'd meet in the evening, she'd ask me, how are you doing today? And I would end up with this entire story of how much I hate my workplace. I
Yes, I
like my boss, and I just
hope
don't
she's not
like
seeing the
being.
video.
I don't even care if she's seeing it. She's seeing it. Whatever. The authenticity.
Yes.
What is. I did not enjoy my working experience at that point in time, and yes, I had issues with the person I was reporting into, and that's that. And then Sargam would keep telling me that what, it's so sad that it's like day one, this is what you're talking about. Day two, this is again what you're talking about. Day three, my question is still, how are you doing? And you're still continuing on that same miserable thing of, this is what is not working out, not working out, not working out.
And interestingly, at that point, we didn't understand that why we end up being in that situation for a long time. So, for example, whatever you focus on grows.
It just grows.
Yeah. So, for example, this AC remote. So, if you just see it once, you will see, okay, it's a black and white color. But if you start seeing carefully, then you will be able to see the brand Panasonic.
It's got orange in it as well.
Yeah, so there is an on-off button which is orange as well. And when you start seeing it, with more concentration, you find, you're looking into the details. And what happens? You keep on going deeper and deeper into whatever you are focusing on. And this is the same with life situations. So when you are talking about how bad a day is, or you're talking about how bad the situation is, you can see the details of that not so good thing.
In fact, again, interestingly, this just happened about 3 hours ago when I came over, and Sargam and I were discussing something, and so there was something that happened. And I'll tell you why I keep saying something. So there was something that happened, and we were both a little miffed over it. And then she said, "Ki, what's the point, yaar? It's happened. What's the point in now even thinking about it?" And I said, let's let it. And I said, cut it. Let's just cut it. And so the reason I'm saying something is because I swear to God, I can't even remember what was it that we were talking about at that time. And both of us, mind you, to us in that moment, it mattered enough that both of us had these this look on our face which was fairly unhappy, and both of us were a little upset and a little unhappy over whatever it was that had happened. And right now, we would have spoken about it for about 4 minutes, maybe, and then she said, okay, let it be, yaar. And I said, hi, let's just cut it, and I can't even remember what were we talking about.
So my favorite word for this is dropped. So this is the best way of doing, just drop it. If a conversation is making you, uneasy, drop it. If a person is making you sulk, drop it.
Mentally leave them aside for a while.
Just leave them and try to focus on something nice, something that will, help you raise your vibration. It could be something as small as, maybe the color of your dress.
Samira walking into the room and saying, baby.
Yeah. So, the idea is to be quick enough to change your focus and look at something that brings you in a higher vibrational state rather than, pulling you into the downward spiral. That is an art, and, in most of my workshop, I help you practice this also. So, it's okay to feel not so good at times, but you have to see, okay, if you have to understand how well you are improving on it, just see how much time you spend being there.
So 2013, where I was constantly in it. Now I'm barely there. Things that I don't like, and I can't do much about. I will just park them for a point in time where I can just find a solution to it.
And trust me, you'll get a whole new perspective into meaningful things that you want to do, rather than spending time on things that just take so much of energy.
And trust us, it's perfectly okay.
Yeah,
we're not ascended masters that we have absolute 100% control over ourselves. We also face anger issues at times. there are times when we also get irritable and irritated. Sometimes we can also feel anxious. Sometimes we can also
We
feel
all
a little-
do. So for example, these live sessions, doing all by myself was a big thing. So
For me to feel comfortable enough to actually go on live camera, I mean, hello, I'm for all my extraversion, I'm quite the introvert as well.
yeah, so that's all right. We all have a lot to learn from life, and it's it's a journey. Self-improvement, self-love, good self-image, confidence. All this is a journey.
There's this lovely quote that I read somewhere which said that what happens when you take 5 steps forward and 2 steps back, it's not called regression. Smart people know that it's called dancing the tango. So that's how you do things. You're just dancing through life. That's it. For every 5 things you do right, maybe there is one moment of anger. For every 5 times or 6 occasions where you've loved yourself a lot, maybe there's one moment where you look in the mirror and you say, oh God, I don't like myself, which is all right. It doesn't mean you're regressing. It just means you're dancing through life.
Okay.
So, yes, which is what the next question is also, that when I revert back to the old self, I feel guilty. I feel guilty because I know I should be loving myself, and yet I revert back to this lower energy. How do I stop this cycle?
Okay, so interestingly, and also there was one question: how do I deal with frustration? I think dealing with emotions is one of the biggest challenges that people face, and I think we'll do a short, interesting exercise online. So you just need a paper and a pen, and maybe something like a candle to burn.
So we've got 3 of them
just behind us. So okay, so the process is like a 6-7 step process. I've forgotten how many steps exactly.
7-step process.
Okay, so we'll do it right away, and this will help you to it's called emotional freedom. So it'll help you be emotionally free from any lower negative emotion that you've been struggling with for a long time. So Tatiana, this goes out to you. Okay, so I'll do this with Divya, and you can do it with yourself. So what you have to do is just close your eyes and think about the emotion that has been bothering you lately.
So like so Nidhi, this was your question, that I revert back to my old self and I feel guilty. So think about what is that emotion that you're reverting back to. So okay, I'm going to think about what's been. So I still have anger.
Okay,
That's what's been bothering.
now step 2. Just identify where is it exactly hurting you. Where do you feel this emotion?
My stomach,
Okay, interesting.
emotional belly.
Yeah, so now the third thing is label this emotion.
Anger.
Yeah, so what are you angry with? Whom are you angry with? What are you angry for? Just label it. So write it down. They're still writing. So step 1, identify the emotion. It doesn't have to be a verb. You can identify as I am super frustrated on my boss who doesn't understand that I am not,
Who doesn't understand that you don't have to bully people in order
could be
to
anything.
build a great work team.
Or your mother-in-law, she should understand that we are not perfect, in the household.
And that some of us don't know how to cook.
So anything, just write that emotion down.
So I
Just try
have
to
it.
feel it, because interestingly, every emotion, in your body is connected to some organ, or like how I see it is, in a chakra. So most of the lower emotions you'll find stuck up in your lower chakras, which is solar plexus and down. And you can, once you know where it hurts, you will understand which chakra is being blocked.
So which is why I know my tummy is hurting. So my navel chakra is affected.
It could be navel, it could be,
the solar plexus as well.
Yeah. So once you've identified the emotion, you've labeled it. So you've labeled it, okay, this is an anger from so and so person. Now just run through it in your mind. What was that particular situation which made you angry? So what was the trigger?
So yes, I can recall specific instances which have been leading up to me feeling angry.
Good. So once you've got that thing, in your mind, speak it out.
Okay. So I'm angry at someone for the way that they treat me. I can't really figure out where I stand with them, and it's just been very confusing and very frustrating, and I'm just very angry with them.
Great. Okay. Now what you can do is, because she's on camera, she cannot take the actual name. You can do it where nobody is hearing you, so you can just sit in a quiet room.
And you can just say it out loud that, you know what, XYZ, I'm really angry with you because this is what you've been doing and this is how it's been hurting me, and you know what?
Yes. Now enough is enough and I need to
release myself.
So what you can do as a next step is just go and burn this paper.
Now you know why we have candles.
Yeah, but I just hope we have something to...
Do you have like a mitti ka bartan? You can burn it. Sir, can I use this?
So now she is burning it, and then it's time to celebrate. Is it fine?
It's all gone.
Okay. So great. So this is the 7-step process that you can do, and it will really help you to feel better. And once you've done it, there is a beautiful forgiveness meditation that you can do.
From anger to ashes.
So you can do this beautiful forgiveness meditation after this, and it becomes easier to forgive. See, if you ask somebody to be nice and forgive people, they find it really difficult. So whatever anger or pent-up emotions that you have within yourself, it is better to let them out first. Once they're out, it becomes easy, to get detached and forgive also. Because then, at one point of time, you realize that people who are offending you or hurting you are basically people who are hurt themselves. So interestingly, in relationship healing, this was one of the interesting topics that we covered. Hurt people hurt people. So, but once your hurt is a bit lessened.
So in fact, that could be a topic for our next live video also.
Yes.
Hurt people, and we could do forgiveness at that time.
So we can do that.
For now, I think we will have to sign off.
And thank you
very much for joining. Thank you so much for all your questions. Please keep the questions coming in. A lot of times the questions that we're asked are also ways for us to clear our own ideas, clear our own thought process. Sometimes someone ends up asking a question that I think is deep within you and I as well, but we've not managed to verbalize it.
Yeah.
So it's please keep all the questions coming, keep all the love flowing, and thank you so much. And see you guys on the 9th of April with 21 days of spiritual weight loss and emotional detox.
Thank you.
Atma Namaste and thank you.
Bye.
Bye.